So, ideally someone gave you some contact info, like your teacher, like your former boss, you know, someone just hooked you up with an email address or a phone number and you're rocking. If not, these are two great resources to discover people's contact information and get in a hold with them. So how many people have a LinkedIn account? All right, so about half the room, maybe 3/4. How many people have actually heard of Branch Out? All right, so there's one. All right, so Branch Out is a startup in San Francisco that is trying to leverage Facebook's data to become like the LinkedIn of Facebook. So it's a Facebook application that looks at all of your Facebook friends, shows you where they work and who they know at different companies. So you're able to go to Branch Out, you're able to type in the company, and it'll look at all your Facebook friends and see if they know anyone that works at that company. And the idea is that we all have way more like in-depth Facebook profiles than we do LinkedIn stuff. Is that true? Fair to say? You probably have more friends on Facebook than you do on LinkedIn contacts. So it's really just leveraging Facebook's data to be able to get your foot in the door at different companies. So Branch Out's a pretty good place to go as well. And like I mentioned, Twitter, you can just Google someone's name and then put the word Twitter after it, and you're able to basically see if they have a Twitter account or not. And then if you're over 2, you can contact them. And there's a couple different ways that you can contact someone. Email and phone are pretty general. One of my favorites is the contact us form on a website. And we were able to get in touch with some really cool people based off of just going to their website and hitting them up on a general contact form. And it's just like, with booking an interview or trying to get a job interview, it's like hitting up every different angle that you possibly can, every different avenue to try to make stuff happen. So a contact us form, quick story. One of my favorite interviews, I guess, was the Playboy photographer that we interviewed. And the way that we found him was, well, I guess kind of weird, but like a Playboy magazine, and looked up and saw his name that had done all the photographs, and looked him up and found out that he was like had been a Playboy photographer for like 25 years, and was like the most storied photographer like at Playboy or whatever. Had more covers than any other photographer ever. And we're like, you know what? That's actually a pretty interesting interview. Like, interesting job, but interesting interview. Because how do you stay in a business for like 25 years and not get bored with it or whatever? I mean, Playboy's whatever. So anyways, we went to his contact us. We just Googled his name, typed in website, came across his website, came across his contact form, and then shot off an email and made stuff happen. And next thing you know, we're at Playboy. So pretty cool stuff. Like there's a lot of people out there with personal websites that are pretty accessible. So as long as you have a real like narrow target as far as like the person that you're trying to get in touch with, websites are good too. And then call them. That's actually how I got the interview with Lou Olson, was just picking up the phone and talking to the secretary and kind of turn on the charm real quick and like you're like, hey, let Lou talk to us for like 45 minutes and made it happen that way. And then this is probably one of my most like controversial tactics, I guess, is guessing people's email addresses. So this is like, some call it spam, I call it guessing people's email addresses. You can get a hold of anyone at any company with this format right here. So there's about 7 different ways that companies format their email structures. So if you're trying to get in touch with someone somewhere, these are the different structures that you have it. So it's first name at company at the domain name. It's first name dot last name at that domain. First initial last name last initial, first name underscore last name, bunched together, and then first initial underscore last name. So we've actually this is like last resort. I wouldn't encourage you guys to just go out and start spamming people basically off this format, but it works. Like you'll be able to get in touch with any single person at any company, with the exception of like really high up people like Zuckerberg and stuff like that, because obviously people know this stuff. But if you search LinkedIn and you found a person or whatever, you could use this. Controversial? So this whole presentation is going to be available for you guys to download, and this is one of the email templates that I use when I'm trying to actually book an interview. And here's what I say with a connection. So first of all, the whole goal of this thing is just to make an interview request. It's your initial outreach. You're just letting them know that, hey, I'd love to meet you, I'd love to talk to you, and here's what you say. So, hello. All right, I'm going to have you guys help me out here. So, hello, who names someone? Someone won't say interview. Steve Jobs. No, not Steve Jobs. R.I.P. Who else? Who wants to interview someone? Jerry Jones. Bam! Dallas. Nice. All right. Hello, Jerry. T.O. gave me your contact info because I'd like to interview you about your career path. I'm a senior at GCU, and I'm in the process of deciding what the next step is after graduation. I'd love to ask you questions about how you got to where you are today so I can figure out how to become a football owner / mayor of Dallas like yourself. Would you be willing to take a half an hour to answer my questions in person? If so, these are the times and dates that I could drop by your office for an interview: Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, January 29th, 30th, 31st, 8 a.m. to 11, 3 to 5, 11 to 3. Thank you for your consideration. The opportunity to interview you about your career path has really helped me as I try to turn my passion for ruling the world into a profession. I look forward to hearing from you so I can learn more about your career journey that you've undertaken. Best, Brett, with phone number and then all of your social media stuff. So what's pretty significant about this? I guess point out like a couple of cool things about this email for me. Yeah, so I have the Twitter and Facebook links down there. So first of all, you are allowing someone to go research you immediately. And there's actually a really good article this week that appeared in the Wall Street Journal that was about a bunch of firms doing away with resumes. Like they won't even accept resumes anymore, and they just have applicants submit their Twitter and their Facebook and like their LinkedIn profiles instead of a resume. And so like it's a pretty powerful research tool that people use, like to research you and social media and to see what you say and like what you do. So just including your social media profiles allows people to personalize you before they actually respond. So I think that's a pretty, it's definitely something that I would include. If you have if you're not just like crazy on Twitter and just ranting and raving or whatever. What else is cool? 3 interview options. That's what I was looking for. Because you have Wednesday, you have Thursday, you have Friday, you have different times. So 8 to 11, 3 to 5, 11 to 3. You're making this as easy as possible for this person to actually open up their calendar and see if they're available. Because if you're like, hey man, love to interview you, let me know when you're available. The last thing that person wants to do is open up their calendar and be like, when am I available? And get back to you, and they're like, oh, well, actually, I've got class, between this. Well, what about this? And then next thing you know, you're like, man, I was just trying to help this kid out, and now it's taking up all of my work hours or whatever. So naming the different times and dates that you'd be available is great. I would avoid trying to meet people on Monday or Tuesday. Monday, people are grumpy. Tuesday, people are real busy. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is kind of cash. You can finally open up the calendar a little bit and do a lunch or whatnot. So those are definitely the best days to date someone up. Even a Saturday, not a lot of people want to give up their weekend. I would probably wouldn't put it out there as one of the options, but if you're having a lot of difficulty trying to nail something down, Saturday coffee isn't too bad. All right, so does that help? Here's what to say with no connection, and it's basically the same exact thing, except for the very first line. Where you guys laughing at? All right, so the very first line is just remember when you were 22 years old and wondered about what direction to take your career. That's just your attention grabber, if you will. It's it's not as strong as TO gave me your contact info, but it's still like, oh yeah, I remember when I was 22 and was trying to figure it out. So that's just one of the things that I did to just personalize it and bring them back to what the whole point of the interview was and the whole purpose of why they should accept it, because that's what you're really giving people with this email, is a reason to come meet you. So if you can. And that's what's kind of cool about it. It's like, I'm a senior at TCU, so if you're hitting up a TCU alumni, bam, you're in, like, done and done. Yeah, and then that question's a really good one too. All right, and then this one I can't stress enough, but follow up, because people are busy all the time. Like, I don't know, everyone says that you guys are busy, I'm busy, whatever. The best thing is, and I think that the best general rule of thumb, depending on how urgent it is, like at about 2.5 weeks, you become irrelevant. So it's like about a week to 2.5 week window. You guys can feel it out. There's no like general, this is the golden day to follow up. But I think it's about a week to 2.5 weeks you should follow up on.